start, sir?
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I am Divyansh Gupta, and on the behalf of Team One, first of all, I would like to all welcome you here, and thanks to Sir, our professor, for providing us the opportunity. As it's mentioned on the screen, that blockchain in healthcare, and I think after 4 days of this program, everyone has a basic knowledge what is blockchain and what is scope and what are the challenges. And today we also learn about the basic framework how the blockchain works. Beside this, during these 4 days, we comes about number of times we heard about the application of blockchain in the real life. In the fintech sector, in the health sector, in the e-governance, there are a number of sectors where blockchain is using. Today, we are particularly dive into a particular application that is health sector. Yes, health sector, someone may ask why we have chosen the health sector. Yes, one of the most important sector, and in this sector, the demand is increasing for different innovation is day by day. One more question arises, why there is a need of blockchain in the health sector? What are the problems that are facing? That's why we are asking for some new technology in the health sector. The first and the most important thing is about EHR, Electronic Health Record Management System. Every organization is demanding and asking for an electronic health record management system. And there are data breaches in this sector and fragmented records. All in the health sector, the records are in the fragmented phase. So there is some need for some technology which can make in a smooth chain. This is about our team. First, the reason why blockchain in health sector. I think these are the 4 pillars of the blockchain. Everyone is clear about these 4 pillars. Pillars: decentralization, transparency, immutable, and security. Now, these are the some examples of real life examples of using blockchain, some platform which are using blockchain in the health sector. Real life examples: MediBlock, GuardTime, Medical Chain, BustIQ. Personally, I was familiar with BustIQ. I have used this platform, BustIQ. It is used to share the patient records and the information with the researchers and the doctors. So it is one of the good platform, and it is very easy to use it. You may try it on, just search on Google and you may use it, BustIQ. One of the application how we are using blockchain and the use of blockchain in the healthcare sector is the patient data management. There are 2 parts. First, the secure health records, and second is interoperability. The interoperations, like we have recorded a data of a patient in this city, like in some of the rural areas or some in the areas which don't have a high machinery for the data interpretation, no high machinery for the analysis. So we can gather data there and it can be transferred to some other city where the doctor is there, so that the data can be transferred and it can be analyzed. And about the secure health records, the data should be tamper proof. That's why we are using blockchain in this sector. Another use is drug traceability. It assures about the authentication, from where we order the drug and from where it is coming to us. It ensures about the drug traceability, like no other third party or unwanted organization enter into the chain for the supply of the drugs. And other part is regulatory compliance. Blockchain also helps in the trial of the drugs with the help of the timestamp. With the help of the timestamp, blockchain can be help in the trial of the drugs in the drug traceability.
Continuing with the presentation, as we have learned so far about the blockchain, I just want to add few examples why before applying a blockchain we should identify why it is required and what is the problem we are facing today. So one of the I will give few examples where you will also be surprised to know how much healthcare sector requires this blockchain. For example, like 35% of fake drugs which is available across the world is from India. So there should be some regulation or some application of blockchain which can identify where in the, although there are manufacturers which are producing the medicines are not fake, but in between the process it's been replaced by some fake medicines and it's been distributed across the world for some profit. Being like other attacks or cyber attacks where you can lose your data, you can lose your money, you can use your identity, but here in the health sector we are it's a crisis which can affect everyone, and it can take your life also. That's why this health sector is very important. Another data which I want to put forward is as per the survey conducted by John Hopkins in 2016, the largest number, the third most death which has occurred after heart attack and cancer is because due to not giving a proper medication. That means there is some error in the reference of the doctor has referred something else, or the proper records were not referred so that the proper medication was given to a patient. So that's a very warning situation. So coming to the supply chain transparency, as I mentioned, that medicine which we are producing, which has to be tracked, and there should be some global network so that the whatever medicine is being taken in the international market, it can be traced back where it has gone wrong in the blockchain. Optimizing it is the data integrity and participation, consent management. Till yesterday I was not very clear how this can be implemented, but after today's class, like the lightning zone and the zone 2 and sharding of data, it can be now understood that the data can be offline also, and when required it can be integrated and used in a blockchain. Now another sector is the health insurance. As we know, few years back there was, especially in India, there was no awareness about the health insurance. But as we are all aware, all major hospitals now ask for the health insurance. So with a reliable data, we can implement this blockchain, and it can be used across the, at least in a specific location. Even you don't have to carry your health records. Empowering medical research and data sharing, like it's not only about after the medicine is being produced, it can be before the medicine which is being produced, the data can be stored and used in a blockchain after, like whatever research is being done in this activity, and the patents which are patents of the medicine which are being produced. Advancing personalized medicine and blockchain. Blockchain securely stored genetic information, enabling, because as we have undergone into 2020 the corona, we know if suppose we had this blockchain implemented, so we could have identified from actually origin of this coronavirus. Since it's not been in the international blockchain, you cannot, it's debatable, like someone says ki it's originated from Wuhan, and China will always deny it, but everybody knows that it has been originated from Wuhan. So that's why if blockchain is there and it's been implemented, then it can be identified, we can identify the source of originating it.
A very good afternoon to one and all present there. I, Sakshi Sahu, a research scholar, standing before you to put light over the challenges of blockchain in healthcare. As we all know that although blockchain has a potential to put forward into the healthcare sector and it can have a phenomenal impact, but there are few challenges that can impact it in a long way. First one is the scalability. As we all know, public network faces a lot of problem in terms of scalability. And if we turns into the healthcare sector, huge amount of data of all the healthcare institution, when fed it to the blockchain network, it can hamper the blockchain integrity and the working of it. So scalability can be a major issue when we are going for blockchain implementation into the healthcare sector. And the second one is the data interoperability. Here interoperability means that when different healthcare institutions are working on a single network of blockchain technology, it can be obstacles towards it, because different healthcare institutions work on their own ways. For example, they take their own standards of recording the data of their patient, like in the terms of X-rays, electronic health record, etc. So when it comes on a single platform, it becomes a matter of task to compare it on to work on a different standards. And the up next is the energy consumption. As we know, public blockchain work on the proof of work consensus. Here proof of work means that every participant, every miner has an equal chance, or are competing to each other in order to add the different blocks into the blockchain. So here proof of work consensus basically signifies that energy is being used by each miner here. So there can be a particular challenge in terms of energy consumption, and it can be taken over by proof of stake, where few are chosen on the basis of their stakeholding of their cryptocurrency, so that energy consumption can be reduced, which can be a problem for the sustainability issue too. And the up next is user adoption and resistance. As we know, the present healthcare system is so inclined over the traditional format of working, that is their register, their ledger, etc. But when it comes to the blockchain adoption, it becomes a matter of task for them to keep them upskilling with the technical know-how of the blockchain technology. And the key takeaways from this presentation is that blockchain implementation into healthcare can be a phenomenal attempt. It can revolutionize the entire healthcare system, as it can induce the security, it can induce the patient data security, as well as it can improve the overall efficiency by integrating entire data set of different patient of different healthcare institutions. So in order to that, blockchain adoption into the healthcare system can be a good takeaway. Thank you, everyone.
We appreciate the contribution made by Team 1. By the time Team 2, please come and join, set up the presentation. So any quick clarification needed related to blockchain application in healthcare? Anything you wish to know about? From the presentation also you may ask something to further elaborate on it. So we appreciate their contribution. Thank you very much for making this contribution. And so, of course, it was a surprise information that 35% of the fake drugs are from our country, and therefore we need to have traceability and then application of blockchain for all these products related to healthcare being produced. So thank you very much. We appreciate once again. Thank you. To stick to the time given. Yes, okay, so other team has taken little more time, so this time you are going to take care.
Good afternoon to respected Professor G.P. Sahu sir, and to respected Dr. Babita Gupta ma'am for their insights that we have given in this seminar, and to all the coordinators and all the colleagues for this particular event. We are here to present on MasterCheck, blockchain based application for payment recipient verification, which is one of the functional application of the blockchain in the fintech field. And as we all know, as of 2024, the UPI, the Unified Payment Interface in India, has experienced significant growth, and with over 350 million active users that we all know actually, and there are 340 million QR codes that have been deployed at merchant locations to facilitate seamless digital payments. And in the fiscal year 23, UPI processed of approximately 84 billion credit transactions, highlighting its widespread adoption across the country. So UPI is being used in the fintech field, extensively being used in the fintech field, and this is the functioning flowchart how the UPI process takes place and where the blockchain is going to be implemented in this particular application of the technology, which is going to be explained further. So,
good afternoon, team. Okay, I'm going to explain something about what we have done. We choose one word named master check. Can I speak in Hindi? So I can explain you proper way. Okay? Okay. हमने क्या किया, कल डिसाइड किया कि क्या इस फंक्शन का नाम रखेंगे या इस ये छोटा सा पार्ट है इसका नाम लिखा है मास्टर चेक. मास्टर चेक क्यों? हम लोग ध्यान देंगे कि हमारे पास जितने लोग हैं, गरीब लोग हैं या फिर नॉर्मल मिडिल क्लास या फिर कोई भी क्लास का हो, उसको प्रॉब्लम होती है. वो एक बार पेमेंट करने के बाद उनको प्रॉब्लम ये होती है कि उन्होंने सही पर्सन को पेड किया है या नहीं. जैसे हम कहीं कुछ लेने जाते हैं, कुछ किसी को पेमेंट करना होता है कि भाई 5000 टोकन दे दो, ठीक है, तो उनको क्या होता है कि अरे ये तो मैं पे कर रहा हूँ, क्या मुझे वापस मिलेगा कि नहीं, ये हमारे पास प्रॉब्लम है. बट अगर हम देखें तो ये हमारा जो गूगल पे या पेटीएम है वो क्या करते हैं कि सीधा QR कोड को स्कैन करते हैं या UPI ऐड करते हैं, अकाउंट ऐड करते हैं, ठीक है, मोबाइल में नंबर ऐड करते हैं, उसके बाद क्या करते हैं सीधा हम पेमेंट कर देते हैं. बट हमको पता ही नहीं चल पाता कि जिस बंदे को हम पे कर रहे हैं या जिस पर्सन को हम पे कर रहे हैं वो सही बंदा है या नहीं, उसने कभी वो हम उस पर रिलाई कर सकते हैं नहीं. तो मैंने क्या किया है कि सबसे पहले इसमें ध्यान दें, हमने ये किया है कि सबसे पहले क्या होता है कि हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. यहाँ पे एक फ्लो चार्ट किया है जो एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम में चल रहा है. अभी क्या करते हैं कि हम ये अपना UPI ऐप जैसे गूगल पे, पेटीएम को ओपन करते हैं, ठीक, तो हम यहाँ पे किसी का भी QR कोड को जिसको हमको देना होता पैसा हम उसको स्कैन करते हैं, UPI में डालते हैं, ठीक, उसके बाद या फ़ोन नंबर डालते हैं, अकाउंट डिटेल डालते हैं, और उसके बाद क्या होता है हमको पेमेंट करना है या नहीं. अगर मान लीजिए कि वो नहीं आया, अगर हम UPI नहीं है तो हम उसको पेमेंट नहीं कर सकते, तो यहाँ पे एग्जिट डिक्लाइन कर देते हैं और आगे बढ़ जाते हैं. अदरवाइज अगर वो है सीधा पेमेंट की ओर चले जाते हैं. हमको उसमें रिसिपिएंट का डिटेल दिखते हैं, लाइक पर्टिकुलर नेम या पर्टिकुलर शॉप नेम या पर्टिकुलर थिंग्स वी आर गेटिंग. उसके बाद क्या करते हैं हम उसमें अमाउंट को एंटर करते हैं और सीधा उसको पेमेंट कर देते हैं, ठीक. अभी क्या हुआ कि यहाँ पे हम रेसिपिएंट के बारे में कुछ हमको पता ही नहीं चल पाया कि वो क्या करना चाहता है, ठीक. उसके बाद हमने यहाँ पे क्या किया है कि जो इसका गैप को उसको फिल करने के लिए हमने एक सिस्टम को डिजाइन किया है जो एक इंटरमीडिएटरी सिस्टम है, जो कि बिफोर आफ्टर द स्कैन whenever we get the recipient details, that time we are getting 10 pointer scale, like whenever we book any Ola or something product, we are getting 5 pointers, 5 point scale. That time what happened, some fraud engine, ठीक है, like fraud engine अगर उसने कभी पास्ट लाइफ में या फिर कभी किसी ने किसी भी अकाउंट से बैंक से या फिर फ्रॉड किया है, मान लीजिए कि उसने पेमेंट किसी का ले लिया, उसने दिया ही नहीं या कुछ प्रॉब्लम किया है, तो उसका जो है स्केल धीरे धीरे कम होता चला जाएगा. ये मैंने एक डेफिनेशन डिफाइन किया है. दिस इज द इंटरमीडिएटरी वर्कफ्लो फॉर द UPI प्लेटफॉर्म पेमेंट सिस्टम वेयर यूजर विल गेट इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट द रेसिपिएंट फ्रॉड और दैट इज फ्रॉड और नॉट. ओके, यूजिंग 10 स्केल. लाइक कोई अच्छा इंसान है तो उसका 9 हो सकता है, 7 हो सकता है, बट उसने बहुत सारे फ्रॉड्स किए हैं, उसके सारे क्यूमुलेटिव अकाउंट्स लाइक उसके 5 अकाउंट है, 6 अकाउंट है, जिससे भी उसने ट्रांजेक्शन किया है और उसने कुछ प्रॉब्लम किया उसमें, तो उसका धीरे धीरे पॉइंट इसका स्केल कम होता चला जाएगा, लाइक साइबिल कोड, ठीक. अभी क्या होता है सिस्टम में, ये मैंने एक वर्कफ्लो बनाया है, इसको फ्लो चार्ट बनाया. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि जब भी ये अपना UPI एप्लीकेशन को ओपन करता है तो उसमें क्या होता है QR कोड को फिर से स्कैन किया, ठीक, उसके बाद चेक किया वेरीफाइड है कि नहीं, ठीक, आगे बढ़ा. उसमें जैसे ही वो QR कोड को स्कैन करता है तो हमारा मास्टर चेक क्या करता है कि QR कोड जैसे स्कैन होता है वो जाता है फ्रॉड इंजन में, चेक करता है जो कि एक ब्लॉकचेन से डिफाइंड है, ठीक. तो वो क्या करता है उसका डिटेल देता है, राइट. इट्स अ 10 पॉइंटर लाइक ए 2 पॉइंटर. ओके, देन किसी ने मान लीजिए किसी छोटे व्यापारी ने जिसने छोटा बिजनेस है उसने किसी के पास गया, उसने स्कैन किया, अरे ये तो सिर्फ 2 ही पॉइंटर है, मतलब इसके पास कई कस्टमर्स आए हैं जो कि इसने कुछ फ्रॉड किया है. तो वो उस टाइम वो सोच सकता है कि हमको इसको पैसे देना है या नहीं, या फिर इसके हम बातों पे रिलाई कर सकते हैं कि नहीं. ये प्रॉब्लम अभी भी है, एग्जिस्ट करता है. तो हम इसको रिजॉल्व कर सकते हैं कैसे, ब्लॉकचेन की मदद से. देयर इज अ 2 थिंग्स, वन फ्रॉम द बैंक, वन फ्रॉम द रेसिपिएंट. फ्रॉम रेसिपिएंट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मास्टर चेक. फ्रॉम द बैंक वी आर कॉलिंग अ compliance check like PEP, sanctions, and there is a multiple AML check. There is a multiple checks are there, like a media adversary, like he did some criminal record and we got that things, so we can check that things. उसके बाद उस पर्सन को हम टाइम देंगे, ओके तुम ये देख सकते हो कि आप इसका 2 पॉइंटर है, 3 पॉइंटर है, आपको इसने कभी लाइफ में फ्रॉड किया है, 2-3 बार 4 बार फ्रॉड किया है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम आपको उसको पैसा देना है, प्रोसीड करना है या नहीं, वो हम कर सकते हैं। बहुत सिंपल है, ठीक। इसको आगे बढ़ते हैं, इसका हम कंपैरिजन दिखाते हैं। ये सिंपल कंपैरिजन है। ये इस साइड वाला क्या है कि ये नॉर्मल फ्लो है। यहाँ पे क्या करता है कि उस रेसिपिएंट का सिर्फ नाम दिखता है, बट उसका कोई भी स्केलिंग नहीं होती, मतलब उस पर फ्रॉड किया है या नहीं है, उस पर रिलाई कर सकते हैं, यहाँ पे नहीं। बट यहाँ पे क्या है कि एक छोटा सा सिस्टम जोड़ के हम उसको किया जा सकता है, जिससे हमारे जो भाई बंधु हैं, देश के लोग हैं, उनको जो छोटे छोटे अमाउंट, जिनके लिए 500 या 400 भी बहुत अमाउंट होते हैं, मतलब उसके लिए वो दुखी होते हैं, तो वो देख के वो रिलाई कर सकते हैं, ओके हम इनको पेमेंट नहीं करना है वरना हम आगे फंस सकते हैं। ठीक है, इसको कैसे इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा मैंने लिखा हुआ है। इसमें क्या करते हैं कि हम जैसे थर्ड पॉइंट देखिए, तो यहाँ पे लिखा है सैंक्शन चेक, लाइक उसके अकाउंट्स में जाके या फिर उसके ट्रांजेक्शन को रिलेट करके उसका सैंक्शन चेक करते हैं कि उसका नेम कहीं फ्रॉड में या फिर कहीं मेंशन तो नहीं है। लेकिन डाउ जोन्स, देयर इज अ मल्टीपल वे टू चेक देयर सैंक्शन, दैट वेलोसिटी, हाउ मेनी ट्रांजेक्शन ही इज डूइंग, फ्रीक्वेंसी, ओके, पैप, पॉलिटिकली एक्सपोज्ड पर्सन, मीडिया एडवर्सरी, तो ये हम चेक करते रहते हैं। या फिर कोई क्रिमिनल रिकॉर्ड है तो उससे भी हम इसका चेक करते रहते हैं, मतलब सारा कॉम्बिनेशन करके हम इसको चेक करते हैं। ठीक, ओके, ये पॉइंटिंग सिस्टम है, मतलब स्केल सिस्टम है। तो इसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे मान लीजिए कि आप लोग ने कोई खाना बुक करते हैं, ठीक, तो उसमें क्या करते हैं कि आपने रिव्यू देते हैं, ठीक, बट हियर व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, इफ समवन डिड फ्रॉड विथ यू, यू नीड टू रिव्यू, बट यू नीड टू put the proof also, because we cannot directly report anyone. We need to put, then system will work. Okay, he really did some mistake, then we can go for that. It's a 10 pointer scale. 1 is low and 10 is high. Okay, it's a future of master check. We can improve more than that, like using the artificial intelligence, like auto check something, and we can improve using some machine learning. We can use more data analytics here, and using the phone, what he done in phone, we can check more things. Okay, it's a just simple thing I'm going to tell, like we need to secure every people before the payment doing. That's simple thing. Okay, the person name Manish Kumar Rajak, he is a team leader. Aditya Sonkar, Rohan Singh, Aditya Dua, Shreya Srivastav, Mohammad Anas Ashraf, गौरव कुमार, अंकिता यादव, ज्योति मौर्य, सत्येंद्र बाबू, आरसी, सालवी सिंह, सौरभ शर्मा, मी. Thank you, team.
Very good, nice presentation made by him. So it was a specific to master check, and of course, we were looking for how fintech or financial technology will be helpful. If you make use of our blockchain, so how fintech or financial technology is going to be supported with it. Okay, but it's an excellent presentation, especially the concept you have presented. It's a nice concept. Any quick clarification needed, because it's a work he himself is doing, so it is horse's mouth rather. Okay, that he himself is developing this application. So anything specific to master check if you would like to. Okay, no, nothing. Yeah,
so आपने कहा है बर्फी, वो चार की पड़ेगी.
So very good afternoon to all of you present here. I am Shivani Panda, and I feel very privileged to have an opportunity to present here as a team member of Team 3, and we are going to present on the topic blockchain transforming e-governance in India. So let's take a brief overview of our team members. So these are team members. Now let's move to what blockchain means, and what are the key features of the blockchain, and why we need to implement that. So blockchain has various features like decentralization, transparency, immutability, and secure and smart contracts. So these are the features that makes mandatory for our e-governance system to put it on and make it more efficient. So now let's talk about what e-governance means. So use of ICT for smart governance. That SMART stands for simple, measurable, accurate, relevant and transparent transactions or government activities or services that are provided to the people, common people like us. So the idea started from early 2000s, major push with National E-Governance Plan, NEGP 2006. So the key initiatives was electronic service delivery and the Digital India movement. That was boosting digital infrastructure and literacy. So as we all know that the blockchain has added various benefits. I have already told you people. Now moving to the next slides. These are the major sectors of e-governance in India utilizing the blockchain technology, and which prominently includes academic certificate distribution and public distribution systems, land record management, and digital identity and document authentication. So as far as I am talking about the education system and blockchain system for degree certificate management. So the architecture of this particular area, which is using the blockchain technology to associate the degree distribution to the common students that are achieving their degree, not only in a hard copy, but as well as a digitally signed copy of their certificates are also available to them. Not only by using, why we are using blockchain into this is the particular reason that the centralized database was overburdened and that can be pirated by many of the unethical people. So to mimic that, to put it into the control, the blockchain technology has been incorporated in this sector. So the first thing is architecture. The departments act as a node, that is the university and admin as a proof of work validators. Storage and validation. Certificates stored on IPFS validated via Ethereum smart contract, and the verification is done through the smart contract only. It is implemented on the configuring nodes, integrated IPFS smart contract and wallets for secure key management. Advantages are security, transparency and fast consensus. Challenges are also there, and that proof of work resource usage, key management and large data handling is basically cumbersome for basic blockchain technology. So here comes the case study of Maharashtra's government's blockchain initiative, as it is the first state in India itself which used the blockchain technology to give the certificates on the online platform by using blockchain technology into the system. So they have partnered with the Indian startup Legitdoc to issue tamper-proof diplomas. So this initiative follows a previous collaboration with Polygon Network for tracking RT-PCR test results. So it was already been there, but now it is going to help the Maharashtra government to do this particular activity. So Legitdoc will utilize a proprietary algorithm on the Ethereum blockchain to generate and verify certificates. The goal is to issue over 1 million secure certificates, enhancing trust in educational system. So this is the complete framework how the blockchain works here. So first we can see that the node, student is itself a node. So he or she can apply for e-certificates. It is not a new thing. It already existed that people or student can already apply to e-certificate portal. But the new thing is that Now each one of the node can particularly verify what is happening on the entire network. So the e-certificate portal is giving the verified details to school, colleges and universities, and the e-certificate portal then generates a unique ID or QR code. Now this is sent to the student. Now this student can access his identity or his degree or whatever he has achieved in the university or institution by his own identity and specific unique ID. So now this now why it is important, because it becomes very cumbersome for everyone to carry their original documents with them every time, and it might not be very easy for them, because there are situations when we just cannot remember where we have kept it, and we keep an online hand copy for that purpose. Now companies and organizations can also take their stake to verify the documents given by students only. So with this, we end this particular case study, and now I would like to call Kashish to take over stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kashish Singh, and I'll be taking over the stage from here, and I'll be talking about the public distribution system. So in public distribution system is a government program in which the government provides essential food grains to the economically weaker sections of the society at a subsidized price, which operates over a network of fair price shops, which are also known as ration shops and are authorized by the government. So basically the public distribution system is of two types: universal public distribution system and targeted public distribution system. In universal public distribution system, food grains are allocated to every section of the society, and it is prevalent in Tamil Nadu state of our country. Whereas in the targeted public distribution system, the food grains are provided to a targeted section of the society, which are mainly mainly people who are below poverty line. So there are many public distribution system played a crucial role during the COVID times when people had shortage of food grains. So government came up with the Pradhan Mantri Garib Ann Kalyan Yojana, in which food grains were allocated to the people so that the food so as to check the food security in our country. And also there was one other provision, One Nation One Ration card, in which the migrant workers who were displaced from the places where they work, they had access of the food grains in their own home where the address was from where they belong to. I have only mentioned two challenges of public distribution system here, whereas there are several challenges related to the public distribution system. First one is the corruption due to a lack of transparency and accountability. Inefficiency in the operational process and delay. Mainly we are talking about here is the inefficient logistic and inefficient handling of the food grains in the warehouses. Also those who need the food grains are excluded due to by falsifying the data that is available to the government, and people who already have a lot are getting the access to the food grains. Also the quality of the food grains is substandard. It's substandard because of the inefficient dealing of the food grains in the warehouses of our country. So blockchain can be used in the public distribution system to revolutionize its operation by introducing transparency, enhancing data integrity, and reducing delay in the supply chain. Talking about the transparency and accountability, one of the major feature of the blockchain technology is that it enhances the transparency and accountability. As the ledger is available to everyone, so everyone knows about the transactions that are being taken place in the public distribution system. Now talking about the non-repudiation. Non-repudiation basically means that, let's take a contract is being signed between two organizations. At some point of time, let's say that one organization backs off and says that I have not signed the contract and I'm not involved in the transaction. So blockchain has smart contract which can deal with the problem of non-repetition. Data provenance, which means the history of data provenance means the history of ownership. In the blockchain technology, we have a shared ledger in which all the transactions are in which all the transactions are mentioned. So there is a data provenance. Immediate payments with blockchain technology, we can track the food grains. Like let's say a farmer has dealt with the government of India, and the food grains are being transported from the farmer's end. So when the food grains are reached to the government warehouses, the payment can be initiated from the government side to the farmer. Decentralized decision making, as the shared ledger is available to everyone, so we can say that everyone is a participant in the decision making process. Thank you.
So good afternoon everyone. My name is Muskan Kumari and I will take over the stage from here. So what is land records? Land records is a generic term which is used to refer to a number of records, namely record of rights RORs, register of the lands, crop inspection register, tenancy, mutation register and disputed case register. So how blockchain is being used for land records? The National Land Records Modernization Program is a centrally sponsored scheme in India that aims to modernize land records management. The program namely has 7 components. Number 1 being computerization. All land records including mutations are computerized. Number 2, digitalization. Maps are digitalized and textual and spatial data are integrated. Number 3 is cadastral mapping. Cadastral maps are created to show land ownership and boundaries. Number 4 is Geospatial Information System, GIS, which is very famous nowadays. A core GIS is developed to link electronic documents to and digitalized maps. Number 5 is Unique Land Parcel Identification Number, ALPIN. A 14-digit alphanumeric ID is assigned to each land parcel. This ID includes ownership details, size and latitudinal and longitudinal details of the land. Number 6 being registration. Registration is computerized and integrated with the land records maintenance system. Number 7 is survey and settlement records. All survey and settlement records are updated and original cadastral records are created if needed.
Here are some points of role of blockchain in land record. First one is fraud prevention. So how blockchain helps to prevent fraud? Like blockchain ensure that the only legitimate landowners can transfer ownership and preventing forgery and fraudulent sales. And it also provides a clear history of ownership, and it can also identify and resolve any disputes over the title deeds. And when we talk about transparency and trust, and all transactions are visible to the authorized participants, and it reducing the chances of the frauds or disputes. And immutability. Blockchain creates a tamper-proof ledger, ensuring that all records cannot be altered or deleted once it entered. And accountability and inclusivity. With this, it maintains a transparent record keeping, immutable ledger, and audit trail. Also increase the assets, secured land ownership, participating governance, and it also a protection of indigenous rights. And when we talk about real world application, blockchain technology is increasingly being applied in real land record management. So to address issue like fraud, inefficiency, and lack of transparency. So for example, many countries are using these real world application, like Georgia uses blockchain to provide a secured and transparent system for registering land ownership, and Swedish land registry use blockchain for property transaction. So here are from my side, and I over to you, Radhika.
So now let's look on to the challenges of blockchain development technology. So the first one is scalability issues, because of the blockchain network struggles handling large volume transactions, as Babita ma'am has mentioned it in today's lecture also. And the second one is ensuring the sensitivity of the data. It becomes and make it confidential on a transparent platform like blockchain development become a challenging task. Also legal and regulatory barriers are also there. And then there is high implication cost, as initial setup and operational cost are often prohibited. Involve security risk like phishing and hacking, which is nowadays very popular. And public trust and awareness, obviously, because limited understanding reduces acceptance among the general public. And resistance to change, because many business nowadays are keeping the traditional practices only, and they are not comfortable in changing their traditional practices to blockchain development. And then the ethical and social concerns, issues like high energy consumption and fair access may raise these type of concerns. And lastly, the governance and maintenance, managing decentralized systems and ensuring updates can be a complex task for blockchain development users. Thank you.
Anybody else? It's a long tree. Okay, so we appreciate. So thank you very much, all the teams. But before we, team 3 has just now presented. Any query, clarification needed related to application of blockchain in e-governance? Okay.